Welcome to yoga today. My name is Karson. We'll be doing about 30 minutes of a nice, relaxing, stress relieving, restorative type flow, if you will. Especially at this time of the semester, if you are a student or honestly anyone, because life is just incredibly stressful for many of us right now. So I hope that I can offer this to you as just a quick little time to be away from whatever may be stressing you out, and a time to come into your body, come into your breath, and relax for a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Nothing too intense today. I recommend just wearing some nice, comfortable, cozy clothes. I went ahead and threw on a hoodie, grab some water, maybe a mug of tea or coffee, and wherever you're at, try to keep it in a low light room. Like maybe turn your lights off and just whatever you're comfortable with, though. So yeah, that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. I always like to start off with some pranayama. Pranayama is another one of the limbs of yoga as a spiritual system. And pranayama typically references breath control and different breathing techniques. And so you can start off really simple. So wherever you are, just come to a comfortable seated position. As you can see, I have my legs crossed. You can sit on your shins, you can sit on a pillow or a blanket, you could lie down on your back. But first begin by bringing attention to the breath and feel it as you inhale and exhale, keeping it in and out through the nostrils right now. On the count of 3, we'll take an inhale together. So 3, 2, 1. Deep inhale. Pause at the top and exhale, release through your mouth. Maybe in a sigh. 2 more just like that. Inhale. Pause. Exhale, sigh. 1 more, make it your deepest one yet. Inhale. Pause. Exhale, sigh. You can keep doing some deep inhales and exhales in the sigh. You can just maybe count inside your head 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1 as you inhale and exhale, keeping it through the nose. You have a few different options here. Or if you'd like to take just a couple minutes with me and try a pranayama called Nadi Shodhana, meaning nerve cleansing. It's also known as alternate nostril breath. So go ahead and take whichever hand is your dominant hand, or take the one that's not your dominant hand and just rest it in your lap or just off to the side. Then take your dominant hand and go ahead and let your pointer finger and your middle finger relax. So they're going to come into your palm. So you'll be doing the action with your thumb and then your ring finger and pinky finger together. Bring them up to your nose. Make sure you're sitting nice and tall. And we'll first start off by plugging the right nostril with whichever finger group is on that side. So, or better yet, we'll use the thumb to plug whatever nostril that is. So for me, that would be my right nostril. So just gently cover the right nostril with your thumb or the left nostril with your thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. Close the left nostril with the other fingers. Pause. And then exhale through the opposite nostril. So release the thumb. And then keeping the thumb released, inhale through that nostril. Cover both. And then release your pinky and pointer finger and exhale through that nostril. So that's 1 full round of Nadi Shodhana. So basically you're inhaling through one nostril, close both, exhaling through the other nostril. Inhaling through that nostril, close both, exhaling through the other nostril. We got about maybe 2 more minutes of whatever breath you're finding yourself relaxing in and stress relieving in and finding comfort in. So you can continue to do the Nadi Shodhana. It has wonderful stress relieving benefits, stress relieving effects. Can start to initiate your parasympathetic nervous system, relaxing you, getting you ready to basically the opposite of fight or flight, right? So, or you can just stay breathing. If you're on your back, you can just place one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and enjoy your breath. You can keep your eyes closed here if they are already closed. You can keep them open. You can come to a soft focus, like half open, half closed. Whatever you're comfortable with, no stress here. And maybe if sitting still is stressing you out a little bit, you can sway from side to side. You know, a lot of times people with a variety of mental health needs and especially people who struggle with anxiety and whatnot, sometimes sitting still is not relaxing. So I've been trying to incorporate this more into my own personal practice as well as my teaching practice, finding this comfortable seated position where we like to do a lot of work and letting a gentle sway come in. It's good for your spine, but it's also good for not creating anxiety that you don't need. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and finish whatever round of breath you were on, whether that was halfway through a Nadi Shodhana round, or maybe you were just finding your deep inhales and exhales. Release wherever you're at, and then start to slowly let yourself come down onto your back if you're not already there, gently massaging through the spine, and then pausing for a second as you find your back, making sure that your shoulders are tucked away and under, away from your ears. Lower back is trying to press into the ground, find contact with the ground, but not too much engagement here. And then as you inhale, bring your knees up in towards your chest. And I forgot to mention that there's no need for props here today. I tried to make a sequence that didn't need any props, so we're just using our own bodies here. As you hug your knees in towards your chest, in towards your armpit, try and make sure that your tailbone is not coming too far off the ground. So if you can't quite get that compression with the front body, it's okay if your knees are quite a ways away from your chest, as long as your lower back and tailbone and sacrum are pressing firmly into the ground, staying rooted into the ground. You can hold on with your hands just on the outsides of the knees, not engaging too much with the arms. Shoulders pressing into the ground, peeling away from your ears, looking up at the ceiling in front of you. Or I personally, when I do restorative classes, I try to challenge myself and keep my eyes closed. I try to keep my eyes closed for the whole sequence as possible, because that's more relaxing to me. But if you need to stay grounded and stay present with your eyes open and that's more relaxing, go for it. You can find stillness here. Maybe start to rock side to side, gently massaging your lower back. Maybe rocking back and forth, finding a different path of movement. And maybe even coming into a circle with your knees. If you find a circle in one direction, go ahead and find that the other direction, keeping nice and balanced. We're keeping everything low key today. Find stillness once more, keeping your knees together, keeping your feet together. Arms come down on either side of your shoulders, palms up, either in a 90-degree angle like a cactus shape, or straight out to your side in a nice big T shape. Go ahead and exhale. Let the knees, still stacked, start to come over onto the right side of the body. Now, if your knees don't quite all the way make it to the ground, that's okay. Try to keep that left shoulder pressing into the ground, and you can prop those knees up with a block, a pillow, a blanket, or something. Now from here, you can stay looking straight up, or you can start to twist your head over and look over at your left hand over your left shoulder. Releasing through the spine here. Feeling an opening through your chest, your collarbone, your shoulders, your lower back. Maybe a little bit of activation in the hips as well. We're not really warmed up right now, so we can kind of feel that right in the psoas muscle. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Inhale, bring your knees up, back to center, hugging them in towards your chest once more, and going over to the other side. So letting your knees fall over onto your left side body. And I'm going to make sure my space is clear. Don't want to spill my coffee. So adjusting if you need to. Knees stacked, falling over to the other side. Arms again in a cactus or a T shape, shoulders pressing into the ground. Staying grounded and rooted through your shoulder blades, looking straight up at the ceiling above you or over to your right side, over your right shoulder. On the count of 3, taking a big inhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Pausing at the top just for a second and exhaling out through your mouth. By exhaling through the mouth, it actually creates a cooling effect with the body, a relaxing effect. On your next inhale, bring the knees back up to center, holding onto them once more with the hands. And this would be a moment to maybe pause the video, and if you have access to like a free wall, go out and find a wall and set yourself up so your sit bones are up, pressing up against the wall. I don't have that one, especially in the spring. So once you're situated in front of the wall, go ahead and extend the legs up the wall, making sure your lower back and your sacrum is pressing into the ground, palms coming down to rest on the ground, palms facing down, resting on the ground, maybe just applying a little bit of pressure here with your palms, flexing through the feet, keeping the legs as straight as possible, letting the blood rush from the feet down your legs. If you heard a big crash, don't let that stress you out. That was our friend Chester the cat. Oh, and now he's coming to say hi and say, I'm not being naughty, which I'm sure is not the truth, but he's very sweet and very cute. Little energetic this morning. Anyway, so this posture waterfall is one of my favorites after a long day, especially for all my folks who may be watching this who are in the food service industry or maybe the healthcare industry, and you're on your feet all day. I encourage you to take some time after your shift, after your day, even if you're not in one of those. Like if you're on your feet all day, walking around, whatnot. Take some time at the end of the day, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Find a wall, legs up the wall, and just rest for a second. It's really good for your feet and your legs, and you'll feel better and hopefully be less sore the next morning. You can also experiment with some hip mobility and hip flexibility, letting your legs widen out and fall off to the sides, using the wall as support. And then maybe pause the video again and come back to wherever you were if you had to leave to find a wall. And when you're ready, let the soles of the feet come to rest against one another in front of your pelvis. And let the knees fall out to the sides, gently pushing towards the ground energetically, not actually pushing on your knees. Letting yourself open up through your hips, up towards the ceiling. Maybe hands come down on either side, palms up. Supta Parakonasana. Reclined bound angle pose. This is a wonderful option to take a Shavasana in at the end of most classes. A lot of times teachers will end with Shavasana or corpse pose, which is typically just lying on your back, but if you want to encourage some hip opening in your Shavasana, you can always find this posture. When you're ready, go ahead and cup those hands under the knees if you can, and just gently push your knees up together so they come to make contact with each other. And on the inhale, go ahead and hug your knees in towards your chest as if you're coming back into that wind release pose, but then send the feet up towards the ceiling as if you're going to step on the ceiling with the flats of your feet, and aim those knees out a little bit so they point in towards your armpits. And you can go ahead and grab onto the big toes with your peace fingers from both hands. You can grab onto the outside edges of the feet, or you can even do a little bit of an internal shoulder rotation and hold on to the insides of the feet as well. Again here, you want to make sure that your lower back is staying as grounded as possible to the ground. That was a little redundant. That's okay. But keeping that lower back grounded. So maybe your knees are a little bit far away from your torso, and that's totally fine. And making sure your shoulder blades are also pressing into the ground. This is Happy Baby. I'm pretty sure this is a favorite of a lot of folks who do a physical yoga practice. Definitely one of my favorites. I think it was one of the first yoga postures I ever really did and like really enjoyed. Again, if you don't want to necessarily be completely still right here, this is a great time to rock side to side, gently and slowly, to start to massage out your spine. Breathing deeply here, expanding through the rib cage, expanding through the chest. And as you exhale, letting it come out of your mouth, maybe even in a sigh once more. When you're ready, hug the knees in towards the chest again, bringing them together. Roll over onto one side, kind of in the fetal position, and then gently and slowly start to make your way up, one movement at a time. And rock yourself over your legs to where you'll pause for a second in kind of almost a tabletop position, but we're moving in towards child's pose. So bring your feet together, untuck your toes and bring your feet together, ankles and big toes pushing in towards one another. You can keep your knees together. Actually, we'll start off with that. So with your knees together, you can let your hips come and rest over your ankles, and then let your torso fall onto the tops of the thighs. And you can stay here with your hands extended out in front, or you can find a little bit more of a supportive and restorative posture and bring your arms on either side of your folded up legs, and then resting your forehead on the ground. Palms can be up. And another alternative to this, now this one may be a little bit vulnerable, so find whatever you're comfortable with, but you can widen your knees out, and then rather than bringing your arms on the outsides of your legs, you can send them on the inside of your legs underneath your pelvis, still resting your hips on your feet, on your ankles, shoulders kind of pressing into the ground, and you can do your forehead on your ground, or you can do your cheek on the ground, looking over to one side, and then switching halfway through. I do have to admit, this is one of my favorite variations of the Balasana of child's pose. Whenever I do anything restorative, I try to make sure that I give this option because I find great comfort and great relaxation here. Maybe your fingers interlace behind you if you're in this position. Maybe you point with your pointer fingers behind you. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, one motion at a time. Release one arm, release the other arm. Look up for just a second. And start to walk your hands back in towards your body. When you're ready, Shift over onto one hip, and then extend the legs out in front of you. This is our last, pretty much our last posture before a Shavasana or even a seated meditation. We'll go ahead and keep those legs out in front. They can be together with the feet flexed. Or you can go for a wide-legged forward fold and bring your legs out into a V. This is great in any restorative class. So I know I said like no props are necessary, but this is a great time to have the option for props. So if you have a couple pillows, you can build them up in front of you and rest on top. Same thing if you have your legs together. You can put a couple of pillows on top of your thighs and just rest your torso on top. If you have this range of motion in your practice and it's not too extenuating, to go ahead into that forward fold, maybe grabbing onto the feet or the toes, making sure you're folding from the hips and not the lower back. You can go ahead and do so now. Or yet another option is to bend your knees a little bit and move your feet towards closer to like flat on the ground. They don't have to be all the way though. And then from here, you can just rest your torso on your thighs. Maybe your chin between your knees. Resting your hands on your ankles. We'll stay here for a couple minutes. For these last few breaths that we share together, maybe try on the exhale, thinking about releasing whatever stress is on your mind or whatever you brought with you today that you don't need. Maybe you set an intention to relax and release some stress. And Chester just thinks that's a terrible idea because he has so much energy. And on the inhale, invite in some new breath, new intention, new life, new awareness. Exhale, releasing old breath, stale energy. Inhale for new. Exhale the old. And finally, we'll start to make our way to Shavasana. So inhale, look up. Exhale. Inhale, start to slowly roll yourself back onto your spine. Shoulder blades away from the ears, pressing into the ground, staying grounded here. Palms up or palms down. Everything relaxed. And I will leave you with some parting words of gratitude for sharing this space with me, sharing this time with me, even though this is a video. I hope that you were able to find some relaxation here today. Make sure to express some gratitude for your body and your mind and your breath and everything you do to get you through each day. You're pretty incredible, and what you do each day is pretty incredible, especially in this time and in this context that we find ourselves in from these past few months. You're doing great on getting through. So I'm going to end the video here, but I encourage you to maybe grab your phone or a timer and set that timer for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your needs. And if the silence makes you uncomfortable, you can turn on some nice, slow, relaxing ambient noise and find this relaxed Shavasana, almost meditative state, and just release everything. Maybe do a body scan from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes and release whatever you're carrying with you today that you don't need anymore and invite some new in. Thank you so much for coming today. I hope to see you at some point and watch this video whenever you want.